When we look back on the events that surrounded the 4th of July, it's always a stark reminder to me that July 4th, 1776 was the beginning of a journey. And as much as we look at that day, and it's famous for its celebration of okay, we have declared we will not be under another country. We will be our own entity. I think that's even symbolic of so many of the decisions that you and I need to make in our lives today. Great men and women have gone before us. We stand on the shoulders of giants. And to me, that's what July 4th, that's what the Declaration of Independence is all about. This team of great men and women were involved in this declaration saying that at the peril of our own lives, we declare that we will go out into the darkness, place our hands into the hand of God, and by His grace, we will prevail. And I look at July 4th and the Declaration of Independence and what it means to the United States, and for that matter, so many countries around the world today. And I am so grateful for the sacrifice and the declaration that those men wrote, posted, and sent to the authorities to say, we will not be under tribute. We will live our lives with liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and work towards an equalistic society where people are treated fairly to the best of our ability. Now, we know the history of the United States it's been a long process. 200 and I believe 48 years we're celebrating this year since the day of declaration. But remember, the declaration was the day that they declared at their own peril that they were going to be and live, if it were possible, in a free state, in a free nation, in a free entity. And I think that you and I should gain some perspective from that today. I think there's application for all of us. When I look at 4th of July, it's not some distant memory 248 years ago that happened, it came and went and doesn't mean anything or apply today. This is a reminder every year for you and for me to declare the future we desire. And because they did it back then and they fought, bled, and died for that, you and I have the option today to make those same kind of declarations in our own lives for what we desire to create, build, and impact the future and those around us to be. That's what 4th of July means to me. And I think it's a time to reset what we have declared. Because whether you or I know it or not, we have declared something about the future. And not declaring is also making a declaration, by the way. Not doing anything is making a declaration that nothing will be the fruit of your and my future. And I think that's not honoring to those who wrote the Declaration of Independence, those who actually gave us this freedom that we enjoy today. As they made that declaration, by the way, the next few years, for most of them, were a living hell as they worked through the battles, the war that ensued, that multiple times throughout that war, it looked like all hope was lost and there would not be an America. There would not be a free United States of America, those 13 states that were initially established. That would never be that hope, that dream, that light, that at the end of the tunnel, that little tiny star glistening in the distance, that it would never actually be attainable. And somehow, along the way, by the grace of God, the sacrifice of incredible, noble men and women, the United States, through sacrifice, through pain and suffering, was birthed. And today, it impacts each of our lives in a very meaningful and powerful way. I served in the United States Air Force, and you will never find, at least I haven't, and I've lived and worked for 38 years now in different capacities and different roles in leadership in companies and now my own companies. I've never found a more noble group of people willing to put their life on the line each day for you and for me. And so today, I want to thank those veterans. I want to thank those war fighters who are currently in their uniform today, operating around the globe, protecting us and promoting America's interests. That's a representation. It's a live representation of what those people did back then, doing the Declaration of Independence. And these people and these soldiers, these Marines, these airmen, the Coast Guard, and all of the military branches. They're declaring that freedom doesn't come free, and there is a price to pay. And we need to be prepared for that in our own lives. And I think that sometimes we forget that, but this day, July 4th, is a day to remember that freedom doesn't come free. And Americans, we are a people, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we look into the future and declare that it will be better, brighter, greater, and that it will be for the benefit of ourselves and those around us. And so on July 4th, the Declaration of Independence, I wish you a very happy July 4th with you and your family, that somehow that the conversations that you had, they would be deeper, that they would be more meaningful, and that maybe you would have a chance, maybe a couple hours to yourself to think about the declaration that you are making for the forthcoming period of your life. The declaration that you are maybe not making, that you should be making, that you need to make. And you know that once you make the declaration, there will be a period of struggle and pain and sacrifice. But that maybe, just maybe, you could accomplish that great thing. And it might be at your peril, and it might be dangerous, but you're an American, just like me. We declare what will be, and at our peril, we proceed forward with the greatest wisdom that we can, and the power and the peace that only God provides. And just maybe, just like those great founders of the United States of America, declaring that they would create a free country, ruling itself for the benefit of its inhabitants and all of those who have relationships with it. You have that opportunity to do that very same thing for yourself, creating agency and influence in your own life, in your family, and for your legacy. So happy July 4th from my family to yours, and God bless America.